Water these seedlings. You'll manage to strengthen them before planting them in the field. You'll speed up the development of roots, shoots, and leaves. You'll fortify the young plants. They'll be more resistant to diseases and unfavorable weather conditions. To prepare it, you need a few products that you surely have at home. To start, about 10 grams of onion skins are enough. Transfer them to a jar and pour about a liter of hot but not boiling water over them. Close the jar and set it aside, preferably for 1 day in a warm place. The next day, strain the liquid through a sieve lined with gauze. This liquid alone is rich in many nutrients and minerals such as potassium, phosphorus, and magnesium. To this water, add 1 teaspoon of dried yeast and 1 teaspoon of sugar. Mix it and leave it for 2 hours. Yeast is a source of B group vitamins. It also contains magnesium, phosphorus, and potassium. Before watering the seedlings, the fertilizer should be diluted in 4 liters of water. Water the seedlings with the diluted fertilizer. You'll strengthen tomato seedlings even before planting them in the field. You can use this fertilizer once every 10 to 14 days. Even frail seedlings will become strong and healthy. Add a tablespoon to each hole before planting tomatoes. Thanks to this, the tomatoes will be healthy and strong, and the fruits will be large and tasty like never before. Even the weakest tomato seedlings will thrive. Just 1 tablespoon of this powder is enough. This fertilizer poured into the hole for tomatoes will provide them with the necessary nutrients for growth. How to make it? Start by collecting eggshells. When you cook eggs or make scrambled eggs, save the eggshells. Leave the washed and clean ones to dry. Sometimes I crush them into smaller pieces earlier. It's easier to store them that way. They are perfect for tomatoes. Simply grind them into a fine powder. You can do this using a blender, but you can also use a coffee grinder. This powdery substance contains many minerals. Eggshells are primarily a source of calcium. Calcium is needed by tomatoes to fruit healthily. When planting tomatoes in the field, add a tablespoon of ground eggshells to each hole. 1 tablespoon per hole. You'll protect the tomatoes from diseases resulting from a lack of calcium or other minerals. An example is tomato fruit rot. Just a bit of eggshells, and you'll avoid such problems. Water the cucumbers with this. They will grow instantly. In the summer, you'll be collecting them by the bucketful. This simple fertilizer will make them grow like crazy. It will supply them with necessary nutrients. You'll quickly see the difference. The cucumbers will green up and start growing. Prepare a 1-liter jar and pour in some warm water, but not hot. Add 1 tablespoon of dried yeast to it. Stir the water. Then add 2 tablespoons of sugar. Stir again, cover the jar, and set it aside in a warm, dark place for 2 hours. After this time, prepare a 5-liter bucket with warm water. Pour the yeast water into it, and mix everything. This way, we'll get a yeast fertilizer concentrate. For daily watering of the cucumbers, it still needs to be diluted. Before you do that, water the cucumbers first with plain water. It's important to moisten the soil around the cucumbers well. Then use the jar and scoop out 1 liter of concentrated fertilizer. Pour it into a 10-liter bucket of warm water. This bucket will be enough to water about 10 cucumber seedlings. That's 1 liter of fertilizer per seedling. This way you can water the cucumbers even daily, if necessary. You'll supply the cucumbers with necessary nutrients and stimulate their growth. They'll fruit like never before. Most people don't know this recipe with the common lilac. This is the last moment to pick it. Lilac flowers are edible. Pick them when they bloom and bring them home. Rinse them thoroughly with water. Then pick the flowers from the branch. We care about the petals themselves. Lilac flowers, commonly known as elderberries, are edible and have quite a few health benefits. Petals contain many active compounds, including tannins, coumarins, phenolic acids, and flavonoids. Put a cup of white sugar into a pot. Pour a glass of water over it. Turn on the heat. Stir the whole thing until the sugar dissolves. Then, pour the elderflowers into it. Boil the whole thing. The flowers should color the water. Pour 100 grams of frozen or fresh blueberries into the pan. Cook them until a thick sauce is formed. Transfer to a bowl. Then, add to the water with the flowers. Stir the whole thing and cook for 5 minutes. After is done, strain through a strainer. Transfer the syrup to a sterilized jar beforehand and you're done. This is a natural ingredient that has anti-inflammatory and anti-fever effects. It will work great as an addition to tea, lemonade, or as a topping for ice cream. It is delicious and healthy. Its lovely dark purple color is natural. The syrup can be stored for up to 2 months in the refrigerator. Add to water and water the peonies. It's the best spring fertilizer for peonies. And soon the peonies will be covered in flowers in return. At this time of year, peonies start to sprout. Here's how beautifully their shoots start to grow. Spring is the right time to start fertilizing them. They are coming to life, and you can provide them with better conditions with the right fertilizer. In a few weeks, you will admire beautiful buds. They will increase every day. Then they will only bloom and smell beautiful. No one can pass by their flowers indifferently. Although they bloom briefly, it's hard to resist their charm. That's why it's worth taking care of them to make them even more beautiful this year. You can make this simple fertilizer anytime. It's best to water the peonies with it from early spring. All you need is a bucket of warm water. Prepare a fertilizer in it that will provide the peonies with the necessary nutrients for growth. It will strengthen their roots and stimulate flowering. Dissolve a cube of yeast in 10 liters of warm water. Leave it for an hour to dissolve and then water the peonies. This non-fermented yeast fertilizer is simple and quick to prepare. If you make fertilizer with yeast and sugar, then leave such fertilizer for a week. After this time, dissolve 1 cup in 10 liters of water and only then water the peonies. Instead of throwing away, pour water and water tomato seedlings. Even the weakest seedlings will grow strong, healthy, and sturdy. All you need is a fertilizer that you can make at any time. It accelerates the growth of tomato seedlings. It strengthens the roots. Just apply it 2 or 3 times every 10 days, for watering but also as a spray. It contains appropriate amino acids, minerals, vitamins, and bacteria. To make it, take ordinary bread. Various bread leftovers, whether fresh or dried, will be suitable. Prepare any jar with a capacity of about 1 liter. Crumble the bread and put it into the jar. Fill the jar with bread to half its volume. Pour water over it. You can use rainwater. Add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Sugar accelerates fermentation. Cover the jar and set it aside in a warm place for 2 days. After this time, prepare a container with a sieve and strain the bread. Dilute the obtained liquid by pouring 3 liters of water. Add 3 tablespoons of milk. Milk will further improve the fertilizer's properties. Now just water the seedlings. You can feed smaller seedlings using a syringe. Larger ones just need watering. You can also pour the liquid into a sprayer and use it as a spray. You'll see that tomato seedlings will quickly become stronger and won't stretch out. You can also use this fertilizer for other seedlings. For example, for cucumber or pepper seedlings.